Hello and welcome to the 2024 Game Announcer Tool training session for the season Crescendo. I'm James Lockman, and I'm the guy who wrote this Game Announcer Tool. It is one of many iterations of tools that have existed over time. Some have been built on Excel, some have been built on note cards, some have been built on papyrus leaves that somehow get smashed and written on. It's a whole bunch of different settings. We still see all of those in play out in first land, but we hope that this option is something that you will use and you'll be able to get high value from as you go through the season. I'm going to share my screen now, and we'll crack right in it. I have open Chrome, and I have logged in, or I haven't logged in yet because I want to show you this flow. I have gatool.org is available. Now, on Chrome on a desktop machine, I want to move this over here, you'll probably also see this button, and that says Install gatool. I encourage you to do that. It will provide you with more real estate on your screen. The same will be available on an iPad. In Safari, it doesn't quite say Install gatool. It's a share button, and then you can add to home screen. But in Chrome on, say, a Windows machine or like a Surface, or Chrome on an Android device, you would have that button to install it as an app. Again, that's going to provide you with some additional screen real estate, which is needed particularly on a small tablet. So I'm going to go ahead before I log in, and we're going to install this thing. And what will happen is it will now reopen in that format. So that's where we're going to stay. We'll get it a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's log in. You should have a login now. And when you log in, if you haven't done so yet, you've gotten the invitation from us. You need to put in your email address, forget your password, or say, I forgot my password. Then you can reset the password, because if you haven't done this yet, you will not have nothing will happen. So we're just going to go and log in now. There we go. And we'll continue. When the tool launches, it should pick 2024 as the year that we're playing, which we are. From these four menus, you'll also see all of the events in 2024 listed. There's a lot of them. You can type to find the event you're interested in. You can also filter by time frame. For instance, I only want to see the ones that are this week. And then maybe I want to filter by my district, or I only care about, say, regional events, city regionals. So all the regionals this week are now listed here. There they are. And we could pick any one of them to then visit. So we'll start with Brazil. When you choose the team, or when you choose the event, gatool will then go and fetch a bunch of data on your behalf. It's going to pull the team list and start to display some details on this setup screen. For instance, we know now that there are 56 teams competing in Brazil. We know when the event will start on Wednesday. It's going to end on Saturday. We know that we have an 8 Alliance playoff. This is going to be the way it is for every event, unless we happen to have a really small event, and we have had those. Let me go and admit that person. Sorry. There we go. Okay. I guess we'll leave that there. All right. So you'll also see some information about when data was last updated. This can be useful for you if you feel like your information is getting stale. You can check here, and it will tell you, oh yeah, the last time we updated anything was at this time. And so if we come back here later, you'll see that this data will change. If you log in the morning and you don't have a schedule yet, say for day one before there's a schedule, or day 0 at a regional, then you can tap this green button, and it will go and pull the schedule again. So you can keep hitting this button until the schedule tab turns green. Right now it's orange because we don't have a schedule yet for Brazil. There's also a button here that is for updating team data, and we'll talk about the team data flow shortly, but this is typically used when you're working as a team and you have your partner, game announcer or MC, out in the pits gathering data about the teams. You're each filling in on your own device the data that you're collecting. Once you meet in the middle, you've now met both of the, like, you've seen one half and she has seen the other half. So at that point, when you've done that, you can each hit update now. And what that will do is go and pick up any data that's sitting in the cloud and that you didn't have. So that will then synchronize the two machines. So that's a very valuable thing to do. And it's what I do all the time when we're doing that. There's a bunch of settings over here that we'll come back to that are related to displays, or we'll talk about them when we get there. There's a number of screens that we use during matches. There's a play-by-play screen, there's an announce screen that we focus most of our attention on. And then for some other conditions, there might be, are we showing statistics, specific kinds of statistics when we're in champs? Do we have a situation where we need to swap the orientation of some of these things? Those are available to you. Another control that we see that is meaningful here is how many seasons do we want to show awards. At this point, it's not a bad idea for you to pick 3 as the choice because teams haven't received awards yet. And if you want to use that to help color the commentary, you can do that because it will show you this season, which will be empty, and then last season and the season before. But you can reduce that to the current season if you want, or to the current and the prior season. We also have a setting here about how far should we consider event data, team's data to be stale. The default is 6 months, and you can change that, and we'll show you what that means in about 30 seconds, maybe less than that. Last thing is the time zone. So set your, or time format, not time zone, but time format. Some folks like 24-hour time format, so the default is 12. And if things look weird or they're just not working the way you expect them to, you can click that clear page cache button. And what that will do is unload any cached assets that are the code assets. So the underlying JavaScript that drives this thing will get flushed, and then it will reload that. So that's a pretty important button to remember when things start to look weird. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out in the team tab. And maybe we should go to an event that has happened, let's pick week 0. We'll go to week 0. That is not a regional. So there it is, week 0. I'm going here because the team list is small and because we hopefully won't do any damage. All right, so we'll go to the team list first. You also notice almost everything is green now. The team list is where we are keeping track of data about each team. Now, we get data from First. When teams register with First, they provide a fair amount of information to First that then we can tap into via the First API. It will tell us their organization, when was their rookie year. It might tell us who their sponsors are, or what city they're from, or the name of the team, what their team number is. Those are things that we can know. But you'll also notice here robot name, and robot name is not something that we can get out of First because they don't have a way to store that, but we do. So let's go and take a look at the Riot crew. That's team number 58. If you tap on the number, it will pop open this edit screen. Now, if you try that and it doesn't work, let me know. Reply to one of the emails that we send from gatool and let us know that you can't do that. There are some roles that we've implemented here in gatool, and it's to help prevent outside folks who are not GA users from editing any of the team data. So we have to give you the right role. We think we've given everybody the right role now for this year, but I'm not certain. If you, again, discover that you can't access this page, let us know, and then we'll enable that for you. What we show you here is first at the very top, when was this last updated? 10 days ago. That's actually pretty fresh. Nevertheless, when this team goes to Granite State this weekend, I'm sure they will get that crew will meet them and just guarantee that we have the right information. You can see what first tells us the team name is, and that's what we display here. But the team may tell us, yeah, we changed our name. And so we are going to have you do that. Please record that if there is a name change. So record that here. Same with the organization or the school, and then where are they located. If the team number is particular, like 58 is 58, but team number 5687 does not go by 5687, they go by 5687. And so we want to make sure that you are that we have some detail about how teams like their names to be their numbers to be read. The robot name is all on us, so please capture that if they have it. At week 0, many teams did not have robot names. If the team has a motto, ask them, put it in there. If it's not present, don't worry about it. It's not required. None of this data is like robot name is not required. Team motto, not required. This one is a funky one, and it doesn't apply to any teams that aren't like 25 years old. Early on, there were a number of teams that competed and then stopped competing for a couple of years and then came back and have been with us ever since. We're keeping track of this because we have there's a statement that's made about how many years they've been competing with first, and we want to be accurate with that. So we do keep track of that. My team 172, for instance, although they're 27 years playing, I think there were 2 years where they didn't, or maybe it's their 29th year and it's 2 years. Anyway, it's 2 that they didn't compete back in the 90s. This tells you what will be shown in the Alliance Selection and Awards screen. So later on, we'll take a look at that. But there is a pop-up menu, or there's a pop-up window. And for some schools or for some organizations, the text can be awkward, particularly if they're a 4-H team or a family community team. If you just read it, then like team XYZ is from family community in Johnsonville, Ohio. Oh boy, that sounds weird. So maybe instead it should say is a family community team from Johnsonville, Ohio, right? So you can just take a look at the teams. If this reads awkwardly, please go ahead and update it here. It will put in the calculated value as the default value. We also have 2 places where you can create extended notes about the teams. These notes appear on the announce and the play-by-play screens. We haven't seen them yet, but we will very soon. You can apply a limited amount of formatting. Know that the amount of space that you have is not gigantic, so these tend to be fairly small, fairly short notes, maybe 1 or 2 lines tops. These ones are a little bit more extensive. We've got a fair amount of formatting, hyperlinks, lists, bulleted lists, and so on that you can do in here. These appear on the team data screen. When we exit here, we'll go and see where those go. But those are only visible on the team data screen, or if you were to export the team list to Excel, you'd also see that information there. Do check the top sponsors. The top sponsor count per Blair should be 5, no more than 5. And at some events, they don't, maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2. So work with your MC and with the expectations of the event to figure out how they want to handle sponsors. We typically, at least in New England, we will announce the sponsors the first time the teams appear, and then after that, we won't announce the sponsors. This is as it comes from first, and then any adjustments that you may want to make. Oftentimes, teams will change their sponsors during the course of the season, and so you want to make sure that you're accommodating those changes. Once you've made adjustments, I guess we can put a note in here. This is a note, and we will remove it You have some choices along the bottom, and it seems like, wait, why do I have so many buttons? From right to left, the first is submit changes and upload to gatool Cloud. That is the one that we use most, because what that does is it takes whatever you've entered into this form and we'll send it to all the other game announcers who then update their data. That is really important. We want to get the data, we want it to be fresh and accurate, so that when the next person encounters this team later in the season, maybe at the district champs, maybe at world champs, maybe at another regional event that they might go to, we want to make sure that it's accurate when they see it. So submit the changes and upload to gatool Cloud is your friend. However, there are times when you know that you're not online. And if that's the case, you can submit changes and keep them local. Or maybe you have gone out into the gym or into another gym where you don't have a good internet connection. It's okay then to submit changes and keep them locally. What will happen then is they will be saved, and you'll have an opportunity on the setup screen when you have internet again to upload those changes to gatool Cloud. So we've given you that option in blue if you have a poor networking condition. You can also just say, yep, I saw them, and this will be later in the season. You visit, you validate, everything is fine, nothing has changed. Great, just record it. It's done. And the reason you record it is so it won't nag you later that you haven't visited the team. If you close without saving changes, then it's just going to close the window. Nothing's going to happen. It won't know that you visited them, and so on. And the last of these is visit times. These are recorded not in terms of updates, but in terms of did I visit the team? And this is important too, so that you know who you've validated when you're walking around the pits. So that's what all these buttons do. If I say now, submit changes and upload to gatool Cloud, I'll get a little message. Once it's done, there it is. Hooray, they were updated. Great. And you'll see that Team 58 is now changed to a few seconds ago. Aha, okay, so now I know I was there a few seconds ago. And if we come back to this page in 10 minutes, it will say 10 minutes ago. So it's keeping track of time. You'll also see our update that we just made. This is a note, is there, and this is where that particular thing sits. That isn't visible anywhere else. Any questions at this point?
Yeah, you have one in chat right now from Rebecca. It says, so to clarify, the current sponsor lists in gatool are the information that FIRST has presently.
You got it. Yep. And that's this right here. So on the very bottom, the full list of sponsors, this particular field you wouldn't edit. I really should make it not editable because it doesn't do anything. This is calculated based on what we get from FIRST. And then this is what's going to show up in the game announcer tools. This is the line that you want to validate with the team that this is real.
So James, that actually comes from either FIRST or MC or GA that may have edited it right before you loaded this, right?
Yeah, and you will know the difference. So let's say that we decide to make an adjustment to the top sponsors here, and we'll add another sponsor, and we'll say, and Texas Instruments. So now we've made a change. We'll save it and upload to gatool Cloud. You see now it says Texas Instruments on the top sponsors, but it's also green. Oh, it's green because we made a change. And if I go back to 58 and we go down to the bottom, you'll see, hey, all right, this is different now from what was provided by TIMS, by the Team Information System. So I'm now going to fix it, put it back. Okay, and then we'll save it again. So now this should go back. Well, I guess it still remembers there was a change, but I have made it right. Yeah. So if I do this, copy, paste, that work?
At one point you had it if you just delete everything, it
oh,
resets.
That's right. You know what? I think Bill, you remember more than me about how this thing works. So we'll just do that. Yeah, I deleted all. You see it goes back to the default, and we'll submit changes, and I think you're exactly right. That is going to fix it. So there we go. Yep, and then it's back to whatever it was. So hooray. Other questions in the chat? All right, there are 3 buttons on the top. These are interesting buttons. The first is download this team table as an Excel file. It will take all the data you see here plus all the other data that only seems to appear so far in here, and it will download it to, I'm just going to close without saving changes. It will download it to an Excel file, which you can then open and then edit if you want to in Excel. So why would you want to do that? Well, maybe this form is awkward for you and you want to have better control over the data and what you're typing. So we do give you that option. If you do make changes outside of this tool, then you can then restore the team data from Excel. So if you tap here and then upload that Excel file, it will then replace all the data in here with data from Excel. And then what it's going to do is say, oh, okay, you have changes. They're now cached locally. Do you want to upload them all to gatool? You can do that on the setup screen. So the flow is still there in terms of updates and so on if you want to do it from Excel. While we support that, we're not encouraging folks to do that just because there's always chance that the data will be strange as a result of editing outside of the system. Last thing is in the middle, which is a merged document. And what this will do, this is thanks to Bill, he came up with this idea and I think it's brilliant. It will take all of the team's data here and it will merge it into a Word doc that you can then print and then distribute at the event. And it's essentially a questionnaire that says, hey, Team 58, we think you are the riot crew from South Portland, Maine. We think your top sponsors are this. We think you are from South Portland High School. We think your rookie year was this, and other questions. They can fill those out at their leisure and then bring them back to the scoring table. So if you don't want to walk the pits, I like to do that. But if you don't want to do that, or if you're at an event that's got 68 teams and it's just too big to go and meet everybody, go ahead and print out this merged document. Then you can go and just distribute those sheets on day 0 and collect them during the event and just enter them into gatool as they come in. So that is a valid strategy, and a lot of folks do that as well. Okay. Let's take a look at the schedule. We have a schedule, so we'll go over there. On the schedule, you will see. Yep.
Hey, James, this is Dave Carlson. I have a question
Dave.
for you regarding
Sure.
the printout of the Word documents.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about asking one of the coordinators, if you print those out ahead of time, emailing them to each individual team, just their sheets, and getting those ahead of time? Or
that sounds like a lot of work, is what that sounds like.
Okay. Don't just
hey James, I tried that for the inaugural Electric City, and I basically got 2 of them back. So
yeah,
thank you.
It doesn't work very well. It's a great idea, but
it's a really good idea. I like the paper-free option, really, but it's just the teams are not going to pay attention to that email. They're so focused on getting in the door with their robot. Having that piece of paper on the table at least draws their attention to it. And if you print it on colored paper, maybe you'll get even more back. Bill's given us thumbs up on that one, so I think that's true.
Yeah, can I jump in just for a second? So
yeah,
colored paper, 3-hole punch it before you send it out, and have a binder. And I have a binder that I use, and it has the numbered tabs on it. So 100, 200, 300, 400. And yeah, and as you fill them out, you just stick them back in the binder. So it doesn't replace a pit walk, but it does work very well.
And then you can keep that for later, if you want to keep that for later.
I do. I keep them all season long.
I figured. You must have a whole attic filled with those sheets, Bill, somewhere.
At the end of the season, I recycle
them. That download team info sheets, we have made it so that you can personalize the sheet. If you want to put your name or names as game announcers, please put them in here separated by commas. So I might put down, let's see, Allie, I don't know how to spell it. I'm going to sound stupid. All right. And if I download the info sheets now, on the info sheet, Allie and my names will be on there as your game announcers, is the way that will work. And if you put nothing in there, it will just say, hi, your game announcer is asking for this information, please provide it. So again, we're trying to make it easy, make it personalized if you can. It will also have the name of the event on it, so it'll be very clear that it's for this particular event and for every team. So every team number is really big on the sheet. All right, schedule. Talk about schedule here, and then we're going to go on to like real business. Schedule will pull the schedule when it becomes available. It will tell you which team is in which station, red and blue. It will also provide a score when a score is available, and it will provide the expected time and the actual time once the actual time is available. So what you'll see at the beginning of an event is that instead of saying actual, it will say projected or expected or starting time or match time, and then it will become the actual post time of the data as you go through the event. We're highlighting the winning team, so red or blue all the way through. It will take you through the qualification matches, and then when playoff matches become available, it will append them to the bottom. So everything works top to bottom on the schedule. So you'll see that roll forward. If there are matches that aren't required, for instance, down in the playoffs, we no longer have these built-in potential tiebreaker matches. Those are all gone until you get into finals. And in finals, if they have to add an overtime match, it will get added to the schedule. So it will show up in the schedule. You refresh the schedule, and it will show up on your GA tool. So that's the schedule. Any questions about the schedule? Didn't think so. It's pretty easy. All right, ranks. As the event moves along, your teams will accumulate ranks for the event. If you are at a regional, then you will have, this will be your screen. So it tells you the number of the team, what rank at the event, what's the team name, what's their ranking point average, how many wins, losses, and ties, what's their qual average, did they have any disqualifications in there, any red cards, and how many matches have they played. So you see in this case, some have 3, some have 2, some have 4. Now this is week 0, and we only played 16 matches, and we had 32 teams. So everybody did not play a lot. Some people played more than others. It just worked out that way. In a regular event, what will happen is that we're keeping track of the number of matches that each team has played, and it should add up. They should all be the same. So let's say you're expected to play 10 matches at the event. We're looking for every team to have completed 10 matches, and that's when we know that we're ready to go into alliance selection. So that's ranks. These ranks will be displayed in this color scheme on the announce page and also on the play-by-play page. So when you're in the qualification matches, it's important to know the rank, and so we're going to call that out as we go. Any questions about ranking? And again, you may not spend a whole lot of time there because the data is sitting here in the announcement play-by-play page. If you're at a district event, then you will see an additional column called district rank. And that is, of course, very important when you get down to week 4 or week 5 in district play, and everybody wants to know, are we or are we not going to district champs? That will be a high indicator, will be a high district ranking, and that will be displayed right there. So we're picking that up. When that updates, it's like every half hour so that it updates it first. So we're just for a moment, we're going to go back to setup here and kind of talk through what happens for game flow or match flow. We talked about already teams. So we load an event, check the team list, talk to the teams, update the data. You'll see right here, Chop Shop, we didn't talk to them. That needs review because it's been a long time since we were there. So we have high suspicion that this data is out of date. The only one? Yeah, the only one we didn't talk to at week 0. Okay. So get your team data solid, and then when you have your schedule and you're ready to play, then you are going to switch to the announce screen. For each match, we provide the teams listed in the MC announce order. So they're going to start at red 1 and say, and here for qualification match number 1. Starting us off, it's team 88. And then you say something. Depending on where you are in the tournament, let's say you're in match number 1, you might say, sponsored by Dupuis Synthes Inc., Harmac, Ulma, and Formlabs, or Harpac, Ulma, and Formlabs, it's TJ squared. So sponsor, team name. Later on, you might say, from Farmington, Maine, the Blue Crew. Or later on, you might say, their robot's called Sea Monster, it's Robots by the Sea. Or, in their 23rd season from Bishop Girton High School, it's Wild Cards, and so on. So there's a lot of data here that you can use to announce the teams during that moment when the MC is calling the number and you are providing a little bit of detail. If you say every single time you're up, their robot Swamp Puppy, it's TJ squared, that will be annoying. So mix it up a little bit if you can. You have the rank right here. So currently in rank number 14, it's TJ squared. Probably you wouldn't want to say that, but you might have a match like this. And you see you have the number 4 alliance against the number 5, or the number 4 team against the number 5 team. And you can say, looking to go up in the rankings, it's Quarks. They want to overtake Robots by the Sea. So you can use that information to help drive excitement about the match. You also have awards in here. We talked about awards, and it can be a long list depending on the team. And that's why later in the season we might filter so that you're only looking at this year's awards rather than going back a couple of years. Depending on how you want to highlight, obviously somebody who won Southeast Mass and North Shore, you might want to call that out in the prior year. But it's also great to say these folks are, gracious professionalism at Greater Boston. Fantastic. Well done. It's Robots by the Sea. So you have those in front of you and you can use those there. At the very bottom of the screen, so we are in the we're in the announced screen. At the very bottom, you get a little bit of detail. This is also repeated on the play-by-play screen. It tells you what the event high score is, which is useful later on. You also have at the top a clock, and this clock is saying, when was this supposed to happen? And when did it happen? So if it's coming up, it's going to give you a warning. The color of this box will change depending on whether you are on time or whether you are getting a little bit in the danger zone or whether you are late. So it will be red or it will be green or it will be this color, this amber color. So pay attention to those colors, and if you can, or you may need to do some quick introductions to try and gain back 30 seconds, and every one of those seconds is important. Last thing on this screen is a drop down. So if you go and take a break and you come back and you're 10 matches behind, you can refresh the schedule. It will make everything come up to date, and then you can find the last green one. This one is, they're all green because they all finished, but completed matches will show up as green. Matches that haven't posted yet will show up as white, as clear. So you have a visual cue as to where you are in the tournament. And then, of course, the next match and the previous match. So after you have called, you've announced the teams, and red 1, red 2, red 3, blue 1, blue 2, blue 3. That's great. Then you switch to play-by-play mode. And play-by-play mode is a view that shows the driver stations. So if you're sitting at the scoring table and you're looking at the field, the teams should be positioned on your right this way. So 88, 61, 53, and 2084. And then over on the left, it would be 24, 23, 238, and 811. That's how they're positioned. Since this game has most of the scoring happening or most of the activity happening in front of the driver stations, when you're looking at the teams and they're trying to score in that speaker or they're trying to score in the amp, you can quickly see the team number on that side. So you should be able, in your mind, hopefully, you'd be able to see right and left on this, and you'll know the red teams are most likely over there on the right, and the blue teams are most likely over there on the left. This screen brings in some of the notes, right? We talked about notes before. It tells you their performance statistics. It tells you the robot name. It tells you the name of the team. It tells you the number. It tells you where they're from. And then if they have a motto, it will show up there as well. So again, you're getting color details about the teams showing up here. This is also where you would probably pay attention to the event high score, because that event high score is going, I mean, you're looking at a match, you know that the high score was 112 prior, and you just say, oh, wow, here we are in qualification 3, and we see a 115. That's a new event high score. Awesome. And you can call that out when the race car drives by. They'll also post that, but you'll know that's going on. So that's play-by-play. Play-by-play does adjust a little bit. So if we go ahead to qualification 16, when we get into playoffs, notice something that happened too. As soon as I switched to qualification 16, my face got all swirly, and that's because when we change matches, we go and fetch updated data from first. And the expectation is that you wouldn't be jumping around with the menu. It's there because we know that it has to happen from time to time. But normally you'd finish and you'd go to next match, and what next match will do is it will go and fetch all the updated ranking data, the results from the previous match. If there's any other changes, it will go and pick that up and put it in. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions?
Can I make a request?
You can.
Can you go to a qualification match and then turn off the statistics?
Yep, sure can. So that's a great, we talk about switches. So Bill doesn't like these statistics from time to time. So let me we're going to let Rebecca back in. Okay. In setup, one of the options is showing quals statistics on play-by-play during the qualification matches. This is on by default. You can turn it off. I just did. So when we go back to play-by-play, oh, they're gone. Great. If you don't ever use that, turn it off. And then you'll have the names of the teams right there big in front of you, the numbers right there big in front of you, and you won't have the statistics there. It doesn't matter. I like to keep them on there because I'm paying attention to the ranking point average. Because you can start, you get into the second day, third day of an event, and you can see, oh, this 4 ranking point win will be super meaningful for a team that has a low ranking point average. But a 4 ranking point match might be required for a team who has a high ranking point average to retain their ranking. Does that make sense? So it's good to know where they are in terms of ranking point, not just how they're ranked. And that's why I like to have that there. All right, so we're going to skip ahead to the playoffs, because in playoffs, there's a little bit of a different thing we can do, a little bit of a nuance here. Playoff matches can have 4 robots. Playoff alliances can call up a replacement or an additional team as necessary. And in this event, we did that a few times. The way that you do that is, as the teams will hand in a card that says we're going to do a substitution. So pay attention to your scorekeeper. Get to know your scorekeeper from the very beginning, and make sure that you're talking to them during the match, particularly when you get to the end in playoffs. You've got to know, has there been a substitution? If there has, then click the backup button. It's this purple button right here. Now, in the old days, you replaced a team. Now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So just pick one. So if you know it's coming from red, pick one. And then who's going to come in here? The next team on the list, according to the ranking, would be 4761. So that's why they're at the top. But you can pick any team even though it only shows you 8, I believe you can pick from teams that aren't shown here. And this is the reason we have it go down longer, or having more team numbers there, is because there are times when teams may leave an event and not be available. So you can pick a team, say 4761. Yes, I'd like to do that. And so now you'll see what's happened is we've added them to the bottom. So they're now part of this thing. So here's the important bit. The teams will likely not be in these driver stations. They will move around. They can do that. That's their prerogative, and they can supply that to the judge. To the scorekeeper, and they can move around during the match. So what I've got is a situation where when we go to announce, and you'll see now I have 4 teams because that backup button exists on both announce and play-by-play. When you're announcing them, you have to listen. You've got to look at the driver stations and make sure you've got the right team. So there's no way to know which of these 4 are the ones that are on the field unless you're looking at it or you're listening carefully to the MC. So please do that. All right, so 4 teams. It says no 4th alliance member. That's fine. If we move ahead a couple of clicks, now we find it turned out that each of these alliances, so Alliance 7 and Alliance 2, had a substitution. So they brought in an additional team. Each of these alliances did that, and so they show up in the list, and we're reporting that as they appear. So the only time you have to hit the backup button is if you're in a situation where you are adding a team whose number isn't here yet. It will be the next time that alliance comes up to play. All 4 of the teams will be represented, and they can't have a 5th member of the alliance. So once they get to 4, that's it. They can't add another one. Everybody cool with that? Okay. Let us go and take a look at this thing right here, which says playoff. But what I want to do is I want to switch to a new event. And this event is, and I'm going to change the time frame to this week and practice. All right. We have 4 practice events. Practice event phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are events that happened, so it's real event data, but it's frozen at 4 points in the event. Event phase 1 is midway through the qualification matches. So what you've got is some of the qualification matches have completed, some have not. That means that pick the menu that we talked about on the announce and the play-by-play page, where you could switch the match you're looking at. That will stop, right? It's not going to be green all the way through. It'll be green halfway down. Practice event phase 2 is the one we're going to look at right at this moment, and that has completed the qualification matches. And the reason that's important is because in that moment between qualification matches and playoffs, we have alliance selection. And you see there's this little alliance selection thing with a thumbs up, and it's green. That means we are ready to do alliance selection. So let's go take a look at that. This has a lot of data on the screen, and it's there for our protection. We ask that you get a printout from the scorekeeper before you do alliance selection, a ranking printout. And then compare the ranking printout to what you see here on the right and this green set of boxes. So have your partner read the numbers from top down. So 34, 67, 78, 1073, 99, 95. Wait, that's not right. Why do you, I think 157 is right. So check, make sure. If it's wrong, if you don't have the right rankings, just tap right up here. And what it will do is it will go and get the rankings again. And then we'll see if it's right. If it's still wrong, give it another 30 seconds and try it again. And there we go. Eventually, the ranking data out of the Scorpion at field side will catch up, and it will be right. If it doesn't, if it isn't right, abandon ship. Don't use this screen for alliance selection. I want to make that really clear. If you don't have these 8 teams in the right order, and then this is number 9, this is 10, this is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. If these are not in the right order, don't use this screen. Instead, go to the award screen. And then you can do alliance selection from here, because all you need to worry about really is, and your number 1 team, 1729 Team Inconceivable from Monadnock 4-H Robotics Club in Peterborough, New Hampshire. Hooray! The reason the alliance selection screen is useful is because it keeps track of where the picks have gone and who's available. So for many MCs, they will follow along alliance selection using this tool, because they can show this pink box to the team that didn't do their preparation before alliance selection and give them the option to pick. So let's see how this works. Let's say 3467 is interested in 4041. They ask for 4041 to join them. Oh, wait, we'll stop again. We're going to announce the teams. 4905. Oh, here they are. Team 4905, Andromeda 1. They're from Ayer Shirley Regional High School in Ayer, Massachusetts. Alliance announce, or click anywhere else, and that will hide it. So as you go through the top 8, announce the team, done. Announce the team, done, all the way through. Now, these folks have to make a pick, right? And you'll see they have a special thing. They are ineligible. They can't be selected by another alliance because they are the top seeded alliance. All right. So let's say they pick 4041. They're from blah, blah, blah. We announce them. Do they accept or do they decline? Let's assume they accept. Yes. Oh, let's hit that again. And you see 4041 has moved up into the first pick. But something has happened. 2423 has been advanced out of the backup alliances into Alliance 8. So now you have to announce 2423. The Quarks from Watertown High School in Watertown, Massachusetts. Well done. All right, so now let's say 78 picks 4905. We'll have them accept. Great. And then let's say that 1073 picks 125. We'll have them accept. I'm hitting return. Return is accept, by the way. So if you have a keyboard, return is accept. So you see that's happened now. Then we go along, and alliance number 4. Let's say they pick 2342. They decline. Are you sure? Yup. And then everyone's like, ooh, decline. If you try to pick them, oh, sorry, you can't have them. Great. So then 157 decides to pick 166. They accept. Everything is great. Oh, there they are. They're now an alliance captain. Awesome. If I go here and they decline, then they are now ineligible to be chosen. So I think we all, hopefully we all understand how alliance selection works, but we're keeping track of that here in a way that is understandable, quick to look down. Obviously, you always have the display on the big screen. That's the official tool, is the thing that's on the big screen, so use that. You can use numbers. So if you don't want to be hunting and pecking, instead you want to be listening, and they announce, we want 172. Great, 172. There they are. Let's pick them. Of course, they'll accept anytime they get picked. They're gonna say yes. So we go there, and we'll quickly finish this up. Of course, I went and burned myself, so I've got to pick a couple more. Yeah, okay. And then we get to the end of it. Great. So now they have to pick another one, and so on. And you see that the teams are starting to disappear because we're running out of teams. I don't know why. Oh, that's a bug. I'll have to go and track that one down. I don't know why that's still over there. Yeah. Oh, because I have a filter on. See, my filter's on. No bug. Everything's awesome. And we get to just want to get to the end. So obviously, this is not the actual arrangement of teams in this event for the way it turned out. Okay, done. Now it's finished. No more picking. If you pick something, nothing happens. Like everything is dead. Nothing happens. So if you made a choice you don't like, or the team reconsidered, you can undo, and it will go back and put everything back the way it was. And you can undo many times to go all the way back to the beginning. So it will just remember all the undos until you get to there. And if for some reason things look weird, another thing you can try, instead of reloading, I just click the green bar to reload the event, is you can try restarting alliance selection, and that will trigger a reload of this page, and that can sometimes clear any ranking discrepancies. Any questions about that? All right, let's go on to awards. We already took a peek at that. We get to the awards section, and I know I like to have my cursor up there and listen intently for my MC partner, who's going to read the script and then announce the team number, and then I'm going to say, oh yeah, 238, that's who it is. There they are. Enter Crusaders. Here they are. Welcome. Congratulations. And they will come down and they'll pick up their award. And now we're back to do the next one. So there's 1729. Let's pick them up. Oh, 172. Okay. Again, you can just click, or you can type in numbers. Either way, it's all up to you. So this is, again, just to get us to provide the awards for those teams that win awards. Any questions about that? All right. The next tab over is stats. And stats tell us about our event, the specific event. And I guess we didn't play any playoff matches. Maybe we didn't. Oh, we haven't yet in playoff. Practice event 2 doesn't have playoff matches. So let's switch it back to Israel, which has a completed schedule. So we'll let that load up. And actually, you see alliance selection right there. Now it says playoffs. We'll go back in there in a moment. But stats, this does have the statistics for the Israel district event number 1. We know that we don't yet have World High Scores tracking. It will by this weekend. So that's a backlog item we have to resolve. It's tracking against last year, and we need to fix that. So it's tracking against this year. So you've got qualification matches where there were no penalties. It's looking at those, and it will report that high score based on that. It will record a qualification match that has offsetting penalties. So let's say each team has 10 points in penalties. There's no advantage. And then this one is the highest score when penalties exist and they don't have to be offsetting. So there is potentially a penalty advantage in this match. Clearly no penalty advantage here or here. This aligns with what the Blue Alliance reports, although I think they don't do offsetting penalties. They do one without penalties and then one with penalties. We do this other one. So as we roll along, you'll also see the World High Scores. They update every half hour or so when that system is running. Okay. MC numbers over here. So your MC may ask you, what match are we on? And we have provided a screen for that. This is movable with the arrow keys, as is the play-by-play and the announce screen. So you can go through the various matches by using the arrow keys on your keyboard. There's a 3, 4. That's kind of boring. Let's switch to another match and get into playoffs, and we can see what that looks like. So we'll go to playoffs, and the MC numbers are now a little bit different. In the playoffs, you want to know what round are you in, what match are you in, where does the winner go, and where does the loser go? Sorry, the losing alliance. Nobody's a loser in first. We provide that information. So this particular match, match 1, would not say against Alliance 4 because Alliance 4 would not be known yet, but that is what happens. So this would say winner to M7 and losing alliance to M5 is what it will say for match number 1. You know the captain is 1690, the captain is 3065. Why is this important? Because when the MC is looking at the teams that are sitting in the driver stations, they don't know who the captains are. Like there isn't a sign that says C, this is the captain. So this gives them that information so they can say, here's your team, and your captain, 3065. So that's why we do that. As we advance through to the second round, now we are into teams that have a win and a loss, or a loss and a loss. So in this case, in match number 5, in round 2, the first 2 matches we play are teams that lost a match, and this one will be the one that sends them home. So it says the winner will move to match number 10, turns out against Alliance 2, and the losing alliance will be eliminated. So at the conclusion of the match, make sure as you're looking at your announce screen for this match, your play-by-play screen for this match, that you thank the teams on the losing alliance for their great service here in the event, and read them off by number and team name, ending with the captain. So you've got the captain in this case is down here. So team 3083 Artemis, 3316 Debug, team 6230 Team Koi, and your captain, Alliance 8 captain, 3065 Jat High School. Right? Make sense? Last screen we've got is the playoffs. Now we went and saw some of the playoff data here already in the MC screen, but we also have a bracket, and the bracket can be useful to look at as well. So it shows the whole of the tournament. We've got initially it will populate these teams. As we move through the tournament, you'll see the winners are highlighted in gold. They then move along somewhere, right? You can track them. The loser of this one is going to go down here, right? So Alliance 6 ended up down here. It turns out they won. And in fact, they won a tie. If you look right here, oh wait, who won the tie? Nope. The Red Alliance won in the level 2 tiebreaker. So when you get a tie, you can see a green dot. The winner is highlighted in gold. And if there's a tie, it will tell you what was the tiebreaker that we had to get to. So that's what that L2 means in this match. And then they obviously went here and lost. Alliance 3 came back and was able to meet Alliance number 1 and ultimately force a third match. Good on them. But not enough juice to win the tournament. So and this will update, of course, as we go through the tournament. If you look at practice event phase 3, the playoffs are halfway done. So you have round 1 is all done. Round 2 is, I think, done, and there's maybe one match in round 3 that's hooked up, or maybe one of these, and I don't know. There's a number of half done matches in there, so you can see what that looks like. Any questions about that? Everybody's so quiet. Is anyone still there? I guess I should ask that question. I hope so.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good, Bill. All right, so let's now talk a little bit about some more slightly different scenarios. These you'll see they live in the setup screen. You see show sponsors on announce. Well, you can turn that off when you've seen every team. How would you know that you've seen every team in an event? You'll know that because they have a ranking next to them. If they have a ranking, they've played one match. So I will look at the screen, and if I see a ranking, I won't announce the sponsors. And when I get to the point where we've seen all the sponsors, I will just turn the sponsors off. No need to have them there anymore. Later on in the tournament, when we get down into playoffs, I might also turn off awards. Don't need to have that around anymore. Maybe, again, it's up to you. You can turn the notes and the mottos on and off. I tend to leave those on. The champs statistics is important for the district champs statistics. Sorry, the champ statistics is important at world champs and at district champs. So for those districts that have championship events, we have enabled a historical view of the teams that says this team has been to district champs 5 times. They've won Engineering Inspiration and the Impact Award, or they had a Dean's List finalist that came out of here, or that particular team, right? So all of that information will show up at the district champ level. And then at World Champs for the 8 fields that are there, it will do the same thing. Let me get rid of that. Excuse me. So that's what those are for. So these are really specific for World Champs or for district championship events. We talked about the statistics. This is a default setting that's on, and then this is off. And then for some scenarios, cough drop here. For some scenarios, the game lends itself to action on the other side of the field. And that's why we allow the play-by-play screen to be oriented opposite. We can also do the same with the MC screen. So if the MC screen, one of the things I like to do is to put a tablet facing the screen, facing the field, and leave the MC screen on it. And then as we go along, I'll either advance it, or now we have a new feature here that says automatically track event progress, refreshing every 15 seconds. And what that will do is any screen that you have shown, say the MC screen, it will just automatically go to whatever the next match is. So we'll keep playing with this to see if this works, if this is effective. It worked really well for us at week 0. So I think I'll do it again. So I just leave this on and switch to MC numbers. And if we wait 15 seconds, what it will do is it will bump ahead to the last match. I'm not going to wait for it to do that, but it will do that in 15 seconds or so. Yeah. We talked about page cache. If things get weird, hit clear the page cache, so we'll just reload the event. Another thing to note here under the red boxes, these are things that you probably won't ever interrupt. Did you see that? It just updated, so it's updating now. And if I switch over to the MC numbers, it should go to the final tiebreaker, because that was the last match that was played in the event. Perfect. Advanced event settings. The first one is if you have non-competing teams in an event. This will not happen in a regional, and it will not happen in a in a district event. It could happen in an off-season event, and so we included that there. It's important because it has an impact on expectations for playoffs and for alliances. So that's what that is for. And then the second one is the reduced alliance count. We automatically pick the right number of teams based on, or the right number of alliances based on the rules that first is laid down in terms of small events. So if for some reason the event is running differently, maybe they decide they're going to run with 24 teams and no backup, which if they had 24 teams, that should be a 7 alliance event. But the event may decide they're going to run everybody, and now it becomes an 8 alliance event, and you would then change this to 8. So that's what that's for. What am I missing, Bill?
What are you missing? Can I just throw up 2 ideas here? So
Absolutely.
One is make sure you coordinate with the MCs and GAs for your event, and don't update any information to the GA tool that is not your event.
Yes,
So,
please don't do that.
So like you might be getting ready for week 4, and you may be updating information for a team that's going into week 1 right now, and you'll be overwriting the work that the GA may be doing getting ready for week 1. So that's an
But don't
important
do
thing.
that. Know that we do track changes to team data and who made the changes. So if we see bad activity, crazy names or weird data, then we will track you down and try and figure out how your username got stolen from you, and then we will reset it and we will make that work better. So we are keeping track of that. So just know that we're doing that.
You talked about the pit walk, the meet in the middle. So that's a best practice, which is if you have 2 game announcers, one starts at the highest number team and one starts at the lowest number team, and you just keep on going until you meet in the middle as you're updating. It's a two person walk that is typically done.
And it's great because you yourself will meet half of these teams, and then your partner will meet the other half of the teams, and it looks like here they might have, well, I don't know, they probably met everybody and they just didn't have changes, but there's a few changes in here from this week. You'll notice that there's 2 teams that need review, so these 2 probably weren't met. I have zero faith that Maverick is the name of that robot. I'm not going to do anything with it right now. They will take care of that next week or week 3 when Thunderbolts plays again. But yeah, you can get a good sense of how old the data is again by looking and seeing that there.
One best practice I have is I like to get the information down very concise. So state names, I always change to the postal abbreviation. And then high school, I change high school to HS or SHS. It's a senior high school, just to get the characters down on the screen. And then James, you mentioned about overusing the data. You have a lot of information here, and it's a spice, right? So just use the right amount of spice. Don't over spice the discussion as you're going along. Try to throw in some here and some there, and leave some for later on during the qualification matches. And then one thing is that sometimes you'll get the awards list ahead of time in paper copy if you're nice, and be very careful about entering the data into the GA tool for the next award ahead of time, because the people behind you in the audience are looking at your screen and you will tip it off. So wait until the number is actually announced before you actually start typing into the screen.
Or at week 0, everybody on Twitch was watching what we were doing on the scoring table.
Yes, we were. Hey, go into the cheat sheet. You didn't mention some of those.
Oh my God, we forgot all about the cheat sheet. Before I get to cheat sheet, there's a help button. Help will take you to GitHub. And we have help that's out of date because this is a fast moving tool and I keep making changes to it. And help tends to be behind. So, but it is there for you. Cheat sheet is more in the moment help. This is a PDF you can download on the top that I print out. I actually have 2 printouts in my bag, and I will hold them. And I did at week 0. If you watch the tape, you'll see me with these kind of brown cards. And it's great because I can see the field with all the stuff on the field. What is this called? Oh, these are microphones on the top of the stage. This is the stage. Which one's stage right? Which one's stage left? Which one's center stage? Oh, this is the wing. Okay, this is the starting zone. This is the alliance area, starting line, driver stations. This is my source down here, right? My amp and my amp zone. Awesome. Now I know what all the things are called. I want to know how things score. Well, we've got it all broken out by the timing in the match, by what happens and what the scoring looks like in autonomous period, what it looks like in teleop. Are there any bonuses? In this case, cooperation bonus, and then what happens with ranking points, and then what the fouls cost. And then after you get past that, this is gold. I highly recommend that you download this PDF here. It contains some great data. Let's see what it will do. I'll download it here. So when it on a desktop machine, it will send it to your downloads folder. On a tablet, it will tend to display it on the screen. But we've made it so that it won't disrupt. All you have to do is click done, and it will send it away. And then you'll be back to GA Tool. So it shouldn't cause any issues anymore. It was taking over the GA Tool before. We've got that fixed now. But there's data about the different playoff stages, for instance. So when are the breaks? What is supposed to happen during those breaks? Kind of important. There's a like where we had the playoff. This thing here is included in there as well, but broken down in the way that you see it in the rules. And there's a lot of data. So a lot of useful information about playoffs. So I very strongly encourage you to download that PDF and give it a read before your event, certainly before the last day of your event when you have to go to playoffs. And then last, we have some flashcards here. And you'll see that we have 31 flashcards because there are 31 teams in the event. We are telling you this is team 1574, and that's their robot. They gave us a vertical, which is unfortunate. These are coming from the Blue Alliance. So at TBA, teams can submit media, and what we're doing is we're grabbing that first photo that we see there, and we're going to put it here for you. Knowing the number is great, and knowing the robot is great, but what you really want to know is, okay, if this is 1574, where are they from? I don't know. But if I tap on it, oh, they're Mizgar from Mizgav, Israel, and there's their little avatars in there too. So with these flashcards, you can practice 1576 Voltrix. Okay, great. We'll go to the next one. 1577 Steampunk. And then I will tell you, I used this going to World Champs last year on the airplane, just repeatedly going through the field and just reading and embedding those numbers in my head from here. And then I could quiz myself later. So starting from here, I was like, wait, who are these guys? Are these guys steampunk? Oh, wait, they are. Yeah, awesome, great. So use the flashcards for prior to the event. As teams submit their robot pictures, then they will start to propagate here. It may be this week. There's not a lot of them. I think teams are waiting to reveal until they go to compete. And so they'll populate. By week 3, they should all be in there, those that are going to do it. So there's our little flashcard kit, which I like very much. All right, what else do we know, Bill?
I think you covered pretty much all of it. It's an awesome tool. Good job.
I had said at the beginning, and I'll repeat it again, if you are unable to open this screen, let's get rid of that. How do I make that go away? Stop. Okay, good. If you tap on a team number and it doesn't open the team detail page, send me an email. So try that. Try that now before you get to the event and you get frustrated, because there's a pretty good chance if you're at an event, I'm at an event as well and can't necessarily fix things as fast as I can now. So if you have an issue and can't get to the screen, go ahead and send me an email. We'll get that fixed for you so that you can get to the edit screen and you'll be ready for your event. All right. Well, if there's nothing else happening, I know we're over the 1 hour, but I'm glad that folks have stuck it out as long as they did. Thanks, everybody, for joining us this evening. We are going to share this recording with the broader community, so it will become available as a resource for this year. We'll make another one next year as we get into next year. If you have suggestions about things that you would like the Game Announcer tool to do, let us know. And then also, lastly, at your event, be sure that you get a photo of you and your partner, your Game Announcer partner, and your MC partner, and send it to us. We like to include those photos of our community in action in that weekly roundup that we send out after the week. So we'll be sending out an email on Monday after the conclusion of week 1, and it would be great if we had some week 1 photos to include. So please do that. All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, I hope this is helpful, Rebecca. I cannot wait to hear you and watch you. Where are you going to be this year? Where are you
New
going to
York
be?
City Regional this year. This is going to be my 3rd year, I want to say, in New York City. So I'm really excited.
Where is that? Is that at Javits?
No, we haven't used the Javits since 2015, I want to say. We're in Harlem now at the Washington Armory.
That's great.
It's always a great time. We had Blair last year with us. It was so much fun. So great. I'm looking forward to watching some of the week 1 events.
Yeah, follow along. That's actually a great note. So
that's actually a great way to practice.
Exactly.
I was told.
Turn the sound off and watch Twitch, and follow along with your tablet, because everything that they've entered you have, and just pretend that you're listening to the MC, and you can see what they're doing on the field, and then as matches are going, just call the matches, make it full screen and go.
That was actually advice I was given my first year as a GA, was to watch the Twitch streams.
I bet Bill gave you that advice.
Actually, no, it was one of the it was actually an MC who gave me that advice.
Wow. Well, smart person, her.
Yeah, Mo is one of the best.
Excellent. All right,
but yeah,
folks.
Thank you so much.
Yep, and if there's no other questions, we're going to sign off now. Thanks very much. Good luck, and be sure to send us your pictures, okay?
Will do.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
All right, thank you,
Thanks
James.
so much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good day.